In 2007, I was working at a factory and I walked in to tell my boss that I was quitting my job because I had been a virtual assistant and I was now going to work from home. And my boss said to me, "Don't burn your bridges." And I always remember that because there are going to be people who not only don't believe in you, they are expecting you to fail. So he was clearly saying, my interpretation of it was don't walk out of here and swear at everybody or something. I don't really know what he thought I could have done to burn my bridges, but I guess he was just like, keep the option open of coming back to work, right? Like that's what I can only assume that meant. Another person that worked there who I had worked with and talked to on a daily basis about what I was doing, who she clearly wasn't listening, said that I was leaving to go do some Amway scam. And I had never been in Amway, and I never will, probably, definitely. So it's really interesting that people don't believe in you. It's fair. They don't really know you, they don't know what's going on. But it's okay. You don't have to have their belief in order for you to continue to do what you're doing. When I made that decision to quit, I was really clear that I was ready to do that. And I had no backups, not recommended. You should have savings. You should have your income built up as good as makes you very comfortable. But I was lucky at the time living with my parents in their basement apartment. So I had that as, stability. Um, but the don't burn your bridges thing is something that is a fuel, is a motivator because I was like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not coming back here. And, I was at a factory job because of it being close to home. I have a diploma in chemical engineering technology. And so I could have been a lab technician, various different environmental potential jobs there, but I wanted something closer to home, which was about a half an hour away from that factory. And I wanted something temporary. I wasn't intending to stay there because when my son was born, I started my job. No, I didn't start my job. When my son was born, he was 4 months old. I started my business, my first business, but that didn't work out as well as I had hoped. And so I ended up going back to work. I was taking temporary jobs because in my mind, I was always going back to business. Like just, it was so much better being able to run your own day, to plan your own schedule, to do things when you wanted to do them, to not have to ask permission from somebody. Now, I understand that sometimes that's okay. People like jobs, they like going there and they're getting good holidays and they have good treatment, and that's great. Um, but I'm not saying burn your bridges. But I'm also saying if people tell you don't burn your bridges, it doesn't mean a whole lot. I think that it's okay to be able to go back and do things if something's not working out. But I also think in your mind, how are you planning to then go back to the thing you quit? And it's not, to me, it was never quit. I had never quit. I had taken a detour into working a job until I figured out how to do it. And that has gone through as a through line through everything I've done in business over the years. It has been the never quit attitude. So, if there is a single tie-up message for this video, because I didn't really think this through too much, but I wanted to talk about not burning bridges. The through line message is if you don't quit, you can never fail. I just keep going. I keep trying. I keep figuring it out because there's always a way to figure it out. And there's also like if you're not so set on what exactly you need to do, because I was a virtual assistant. I quit at that time as a virtual assistant. I ended up finding out that I was now taking on 13 bosses instead of one. I ended up working very long hours for very little pay from that job I quit where the boss said, don't burn your bridges. But I transitioned to something else, something better. So I did end up moving out of virtual assistants. There are people who successfully build virtual assistant businesses as well. I just would have had to reformat. But then I found out that wasn't really the right business for me. So I shifted from that and I shifted to all kinds of things over years. And I'm sure I will have other businesses in years to come because I love that variety. And I really aspire to be a portfolio business owner at some point in the next 5 to 10 years. So I really enjoy starting new businesses and having a variety of businesses, but that doesn't mean that I'm going back to a factory job. So I don't think I need that bridge. That's it for this video. Talk soon.